Hi, I'm Daniel Andrews, owner and creator of the DAN Show, and welcome to my latest 2021 NFL preview video. Today, I'm going to break down the Miami Dolphins, but before I get started, if you are new here, this is your first time here, I just got to ask you one simple question. Do you like football? Because if so, you're in the right place. Go ahead, hit that subscribe button, and while you're at it, ring the bell. That way you can be notified every time I come out with a new video. If you've been here before, you already know the drill. You give me a thumbs up and you drop a comment below with your opinion of the video and the record prediction that you have for the Miami Dolphins for the upcoming 2021 season. Now, here's how my breakdown videos work. I give you 3 things I like, followed by 3 things I don't like, but stick around to the very end where I break down the Vegas over-under and I reveal if I am going to put action down on the Miami Dolphins. Now, let's start off with the first thing I like about the Miami Dolphins. I like the Dolphins draft. There's an expression, go big or go home, and that's what the Dolphins did. At number 6 overall, they took Jalen Waddle, the number 1 playmaker in the draft, and at number 18, they took Jalen Phillips, the number 1 pass rusher in the draft. Now, there's red flags with both of these players, so there's some risk involved, but I love teams that go for it. I love teams that roll the dice, and that's exactly what Miami did. Due to the trade with San Francisco, they're going to get 2 first-round picks over the next 2 years. So even if one or both of these players doesn't work out, it doesn't kill your team. Plus, if both of them do work out and both of them can play up to their potential, you're not only looking at winning the East, you're looking to get to the Super Bowl because both these players are very good. But there was red flags with both of them. So there was some risk, but the reward's very big. And it also doesn't kill your team because you have 2 picks in the first round over the next 2 years. The second thing I like about the Miami Dolphins is their defense. Last year, late in the season, they lost playing the Kansas City Chiefs 33-27. And the last game of the season, they lost to Buffalo 56-26. Now, these were the AFC Championship opponents, and they gave up a total of 89 points in these 2 games. So they're the 2 best teams in AFC. But despite this offensive explosion, they were still 6th in points allowed in the 2020 season. In 2019, they were 32nd, so it was a massive improvement. And one of the things I really liked about Jalen Phillips, I mentioned the draft picks, is that the Dolphins, I felt, really needed a premier pass rusher. I was very surprised that they had 41 sacks last year. That was 10th or tied for 10th in the league. That's actually a pretty good number. And no team had more interceptions. Xavier Howard, of course, led the league with 10 picks. I actually thought that Howard was going to leave. So with him coming back, that's a major thing. And you have him with Byron Jones and first-round pick Noah Igbenani. You know what? I can't pronounce his name, but I love this game coming out of Auburn. It really gives you 2 legitimate number 1 corners and a guy that he chose in the first round the year before. So this is really important because I already mentioned that the AFC Championship was between Buffalo and Kansas City. Well, these are pass-first teams, so having a pass rush improved with Jalen Phillips, keeping Xavier Howard, and having your first-round pick, who is more of an athlete and had a lot of potential going into this year. He's going to have a lot more production. So I'm going to post a link to Ourlads, and that's what I used to look at the depth chart. But this defense actually looks a lot better than last year's defense, which was 6th in scoring, 1st in picks, and tied for 10th in sacks. And finally, the third thing I like about the Miami Dolphins is their tight end and wide receiver group. In this draft, they chose Hunter Long out of Boston College in the 3rd round. He's a 6'5" tight end with really great hands. And I love adding Long to this group, which has Mike Gesicki, Adam Shaheen, and Durham Smythe. Now, Shaheen's a former basketball player who in college ballooned up to 280. And he also, I think he ran like a 4.7 flat at the combine. He's got the world of potential, just hasn't panned out. You also have Smythe, who's more of a blocker. Now, see, Long's not overly athletic, but he's a 6'5" target with great hands. And in Gesicki, you have a 6'6" target with sure hands. So you have 2 big targets with great hands. That's perfect for a young developing quarterback. And see, you also added Will Fuller. You get Albert Wilson, who sat out last year, and Lynn Bowden. He was acquired in a trade last year during preseason. These three wide receivers are going to be added to a group that drafted Jalen Waddle. So you add a lot of talent and especially speed to this wide receiving group. So you have two tight ends with excellent hands added with a 4-3 guy in Fuller and a 4-2-5 guy in Waddle. You get Tua tons of opportunities to really excel. And I haven't even mentioned the number one wide receiver, Davonte Parker, who could have a huge year with all these other guys surrounding him. It's impossible to put two people on just one target. See, I like the way this group is built. You have tall, athletic tight ends with great hands. You have tons of speed, and then your number one wide receiver is a 6'3" Davonte Parker. So this is a great group, and I love the way it's built. Just to recap the three things I like about the Miami Dolphins: I like the draft, I like the defense, and I like the tight end and wide receiver group. Now, three things I don't like about the Miami Dolphins. The first thing I don't like about the Miami Dolphins is their running backs. Now keep in mind, I'm releasing this video mid-August. By the time the season starts, they may have traded for a running back or picked one up. That was released by another team, but as I'm releasing this video, I'm going with Myles Gaskin being the number one running back, Malcolm Brown being the number two running back. And I like both backs. I watched Gaskin play at Washington, Malcolm Brown play at Texas, and I like both players, but neither one is really a number one running back. Neither one's really a game breaker or that guy that you can just give 30 touches a game and you're going to be fine. This causes two problems with the running back situation as it currently is with the Dolphins. Number one, it puts a lot of pressure on Tua. It also allows defenses to be a lot more one-dimensional. Let's say you're a team that uses a quote-unquote NASCAR package. You could go into a game against the Dolphins using the NASCAR package almost exclusively. You could also play a dime defense. You could also just simply add more pass rushers. Bottom line, the way the Dolphins offense is currently set up, you're relying on Tua, a young developing quarterback, to be part of a pass-heavy offense. That's a lot for Tua to burden, and that kind of goes hand in hand with the second thing I don't like about the Miami Dolphins is that in Brian Fleury's third year, it's your third different offensive coordinator. You don't have a legitimate number one running back and your offense is going to be pass heavy. Well, now you're asking your young quarterback to learn a new offense, and the Dolphins are going to have co-offensive coordinators. Now, both offensive coordinators have been with Brian Flores and been with the Dolphins organization the last 3 years, so that's a plus. But bottom line, when Flores arrived, he brought the Patriots wide receiver coach with him. That didn't work out. So then last year you brought in Chan Gailey, and then Chan Gailey resigned after the year, and there was lots of speculation that he resigned because he didn't get along with Flores, and Flores was a difficult guy to work for. So there's multiple problems here. Number one, you have a new offense. Second, co-offensive coordinators just sounds terrible. Now, both guys are coming from within the organization, so it's a plus. You're not going with outside the organization. However, you really should just promoted one, not both of them. I don't see how this is going to work. But bottom line, you have, and then you also have third, Tua's development, and the quarterback's best friend is a great running game. You don't have that. You have a new offense, and then bottom line, you have two offensive coordinators, so you have two voices. I don't see how this is really going to work out well. And this goes hand in hand with the third thing I don't like about the Dolphins, and that's the Belichick coaching tree hasn't worked anywhere. Go back to 2020. You got Bill O'Brien, Romeo Crennel, Matt Patricia, all of them gone. You also have front office GM Thomas Dimitroff came up in the Patriots organization. He was fired midseason by the Atlanta Falcons. And these aren't all the coaches. These are just a few off the top of my head. You have Eric Mangini, Josh McDaniels, Jim Schwartz. As a matter of fact, you can't find a successful head coach save Nick Saban, but he's on the college ranks, to come out of the Bill Belichick coaching tree. Now, see, here's the thing. You have Flores in Miami and Joe Judge in New York. I think Flores has a much difficult challenge than Joe Judge. He has a third offensive coordinator in 3 years, and he also has a very young offense and a young team in general. So I think he has his hands full, and he also has the reputation about being difficult to work with, and then this third offensive coordinator in 3 years. It's kind of hard to defute that. So I think that he does have a big challenge this year. So just to recap, the three things I don't like about the Miami Dolphins is I don't like the running backs. I don't like 3 years, 3 offensive coordinators, and the Belichick coaching tree history is definitely against Brian Flores. Now's the main part of the show. I'm revealing the Vegas over-under, and I'm also going to tell you if I am going to put action down on the Miami Dolphins. The over-under for the Miami Dolphins, now this is per Westgate Casino. Depending on which sportsbook you use, you may have a different number. But I'm just going to give you the Westgate Sportsbook, partly because I've used them, and that if you ever hear a Vegas number by ESPN, they use Westgate Casino as well. Over 9 is negative 135, and under 9 is plus 115. And what that means is if you like over 9, you have to wager $135 to win 100. But if you like under 9, a $100 wager will win you 115. And because there's such a big difference between over and under, I really expect this to jump up to 9.5. I'm giving you a number today, but depending on when you go to bet, you probably could get over 9.5 at a positive number. Now, to make the playoffs, yes is plus 130, where no is 150. Again, 100 would win you 130, where if you say no, you have to wager 150 and make 100. So if you like the over, I really strongly suggest you put a little bit extra on the Miami to go ahead and make the playoffs. Now, last year they won 10 games and didn't make the playoffs, but in 2019, Tennessee made the playoffs at 9-7. 2018, you needed 10 wins to get to the playoffs. Pittsburgh at 9-6-1 stayed home. 2017, 9-7 Tennessee and Buffalo both made the playoffs. Now in 2016, Houston won the division at 9-7, but all the wild card teams had 10 wins or more. Now, my point is that for the last several years, it's gone back and forth whether 10 wins is good enough. So last year, you needed 10. This year you shouldn't. However, with 17 games, who knows? But more than likely, with the way it's gone the last several years, it's safe to assume that if Miami hits over 9, which would be 10 wins, that they are going to make the playoffs. I like the Dolphins, all right? They're one of my dark horses to win the Super Bowl. But I am going to pass on putting action on them. But if I was going to bet on Miami, I might skip the over-under completely because I don't like negative 135. I might put them to make the playoffs at plus 130, which from a mathematical standpoint, since I like them to win more than 9 games, I might just go ahead and put them to make the playoffs at plus 130. Now, if this number does jump up to 9.5, depending on what the number is, I might put some action on them. But my plans are to go ahead and put a pass on the Dolphins because there are enough question marks about the Dolphins to make me kind of wonder. But they are a team I like a lot. And if you went ahead and you took over on the Dolphins, or if you took over or yes on them to make the playoffs, I would say, hey, that's probably a pretty smart move. One of my loyal subscribers got 33-1 odds on Miami to win the Super Bowl. He put a 20 down on them. Smart move on his part because the Dolphins are a team I really like a lot. Now, please, don't forget, if you haven't done it already, give me a thumbs up. And drop a comment below. I want to know what your prediction is for the Miami Dolphins for the year. Let me know what's your record prediction, and let me know what you like about the video or what you didn't like. Now, coming up next is the Washington football team. So I will see you again very soon.